And just having this two angle, the impermanence of everything and the unsatisfactoriness of everything, just this two view will make a big difference in our life. And I think, as you may have noticed, this is nothing religious, this is nothing mythical, this is not mystical, this is raw, if you like, science of how to live and how to look at our life. Now, third one, no self, or the selflessness for beginners, for the beginners. But of course, I mean, this anicca, dukkha, and anatta, they are actually, interconnected in a way. By understanding that everything is impermanent, you are already you are on the way to comprehending no self. By the time you know that nothing satisfies you completely, you are getting quite a big picture of anatta, no self. But having said that, the teachings on the no self, anatta, is the most essential teaching of the Buddha. And as I was speaking just, I think, yesterday, this will become more important now than ever, I feel. And I'm going to relate this with a modern time. I think our modern people, you could sort of roughly say we are kind of much better off in a way than those who were living in the ancient time, when people were really basically needing to look for food, always the fear of somebody invading your territory, plagues, I mean, even when I was growing up, it took I think few months for me to write a letter to my mother, because this letter takes time to reach, and then another few months to get back a reply. I don't know whether this is probably that's a good thing. And now we don't need. Now we can just talk live, Zoom, as is happening right now, everywhere, like this. I don't know whether this is a good thing, but let's say we have this kind of thing going on. So maybe I think this is very true. We, the modern people, we are going to suffer a lot with the identity crisis. Now, who are we? And this teachings on anatta, because it really is deconstruction of the dilemma of identity. The whole world, okay, so the identity crisis. So to solve this identity crisis, the whole world try to solve this identity with what? I don't know. Dye your hair, buy designer shoes, get a big degree in some universities, buy a sports car. I think this is all something to do with identity, I guess. Or have a sex change, or even small things like speak with a squeaking kind of sound, or laugh like a horse. I don't know, people do these things to make your identity unique. Just look at us. Everything is about, identity. That's I think, and now with art, music, fashion, statement, right? Fashion statement. What is that for? Identity. So we are talking about identity. So there is definitely a identity crisis, and to solve that, there's these remedies. And then politically, culture, tradition, nationalism, like Chinese, Indian, Egyptian, I don't know. And then, I don't know, like a view such as democracy, socialism, identity. So when the whole world is trying to solve the identity crisis with these identities, Buddhism, on the other hand, tried to solve this identity crisis in the totally opposite way. Identity is an illusion. It is like it's like the biggest mystery. It's like, it is a totally unfound. There is no such thing as you or me or I that truly independently exists. It is an illusion. But you cannot really discard this as an illusion and then, sort of not care about it. But because illusion is powerful. Even a scarecrow does its job, even though it does not, it's not really it's an illusion. It looks like a human, but it's not a human, but it does its job. It chases crows away. Just like that, this illusory identity that we have now, this is not an easy to tackle with, because if I pinch you, you will be in pain. If there's a thumbs up in your Instagram, you'll be happy. If there's a thumbs down, you'll be unhappy. So this identity crisis is sorted out by the Buddha with the teachings such as anatta or the shunyata or the tathagata garbha. But this one probably needs a little more, contemplation and more study and more, sort of hearing, more analysis. And you might want to put more time and energy on this. But if you can, this is a key to solve all the problem. And because of that, I just was reading a handwritten scroll of Heart Sutra. In the Prajna Paramita, in the Heart Sutra, the contents of the Heart Sutra is really, really an essential, most quintessential teachings to tackle the biggest, most vicious problem, the problem of identity crisis, the self, because that identity is the fundamental sort of culprit, if you like, of all the calamities, anxieties, suffering, delusions, confusions, and thus pain, samsara. Now, just to, give you some few more information. So Vipassana is it's a path to see the whole truth, direct truth, whole picture, inside picture, inside view, the real deal, the real truth. Okay, this is taught generally, maybe mostly in the Theravada tradition, with a teaching techniques such as three characteristics like anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Now, in the Mahayana, on top of these teachings are very well accepted in the Mahayana. It is very venerated, very much appreciated. But on top of that, more exclusively in the Mahayana, these teachings are approached with bodhicitta, and the relative bodhicitta with a training, or the bhavana, the training mind with wishing to enlighten all sentient beings. This is a very, very vast teaching. So the wish to enlighten sentient beings is not just some sort of a philanthropic kind of attitude. It's actually much more than that. It's, I mean, you know, wish to enlighten sentient beings is not really, it is not really wish to give everybody good health, I don't know, good food. We are not talking about that, right? We are not talking about giving them some sort of a temporary gain or temporary shelter or food. We are talking about wishing to awaken to these truths. So there's that, the relative bodhicitta. And then the ultimate bodhicitta, which is also known as the shunyata. Now this Mahayana has a different approach to, it's very similar to the anatta as taught in the Theravada tradition, but it has a different angle, different approach. And in many ways, it can be also seen as a very daring, because from the Mahayana's point of view, not only the samsara, the dukkha, you know, the world is an illusion, even the moksha, the liberation, the nirvana is an illusion. So in this way, Mahayana's sort of teaching is much more, it can be seen, it can be very daring, you could say. And then within the Mahayana, there is also, we have what we call Tantrayana or the Vajrayana, which is actually Mahayana, but it has unique, daring way of looking at the truth. So, sorry, I forgot. Within the Mahayana, okay, one angle of looking at, when we talk about ultimate bodhicitta, one angle is shunyata, which I just told you. Not only the samsara is shunyata, but even the nirvana is shunyata. But the other angle in the Mahayana is looking at things from the, what they call tathagata garbha, the point of view of Buddha nature, especially with a sentient being. All ignorant beings have the Buddha nature. That is how, remember, always go back, let's go back to the Vipassana. Vipassana being the, you know, how you view things with a full picture. So one angle of the Mahayana's teaching is looking at the whole thing or sentient beings with a view that all sentient beings have the Buddha nature. So this is a unique angle, unique Vipassana actually. Then with the Vajrayana, very similar, but if sentient beings already have, if sentient beings, if their nature is the Buddha, then why not already interact with them as the Buddha? One example that I'm always giving is this. Like if you are a goldsmith and then you are given a ore, a gold that is not really polished and not yet, you know, it's not shiny, it's just a rock, but you are given a kilo of gold ore. It doesn't even look remotely like a gold. But if you are a goldsmith, you know this is a gold. So you will treasure it like a gold, just like a polished one. So why not already look at each other as a deity, as the Buddha, and not just look at, interact, talk, eat, dwell. And therefore, why not even look at the world that you are living as a Buddha field, so on and so forth. So this is Vajrayana's Vipassana. It's actually a Vipassana. So as I said right at the beginning, I just want to sort of inform some people that Vipassana is very vast. In fact, Vipassana is what is the most unique, I would say. If you take out Vipassana just the shamatha, you will find this in many different traditions in India. But Vipassana is very, very unique. And then within the Vajrayana, there are, traditions such as Mahamudra, Mahasandhi. They are basically the epitome or the most refined path of the Vipassana. So with this, I would sort of consider kind of roughly, I would consider that this is end of what I have to say, and I'm happy to hear some questions if you have regarding, I don't know, Vipassana, shamatha. Is that good?